Hey, it's Tony with lidl.doodle. Welcome back to my channel. After I did my fall inks video a few weeks ago, I kept coming across inks as I was organizing and refilling pens and changing inks out. I kept coming across inks that I just felt like I really overlooked when I did my first fall inks video. There are just so many great fall inks. So I wanted to do a second video. So this is going to be Fall Inks Part 2. I am working in my A5 Hobonichi grid ink journal. I've already kind of lined out some boxes so that I can stay organized. And yeah, I'm just gonna jump in. I'm gonna swatch with my Speedball. Let's see, this is a B1 size, super cheap off Amazon, and then my dip pen that I always go to. So the first ink I'm going to share is called Fortune's Gold. This was out of the Diamine Inkvent calendar, perhaps last year, 2023. It is a really super pretty shimmering yellow. And even though it's, I don't know, it was the Inkvent calendar, which I don't know, maybe that makes it like a Christmas ink. I just feel like those bright, vibrant, shimmery yellows are kind of fall-like. I don't really see this as like a winter ink. This to me just really screams fall. And I don't use yellow inks a lot in my pens. It's not necessarily my favorite color. I don't have any yellow pens per se. So let's see, this is Diamine. But I really feel like for using it for artwork or a dip pen. I know I used this, if you saw my last video where I showed some alternative things that I do with fountain pen ink. The fall tree that I had painted in my sketchbook was done with this. So again, this is Diamine Fortune's Gold, and you can see even right there how much shimmer is in that ink. The next up is a Colorverse. It does not have shimmer in it, but it's just a super pretty muted green that I feel kind of represents that just kind of muted green of fall, kind of a greenish brown. I do have this in a pen, and I do use this ink quite often. I really like it. And I like Colorverse inks. I think that they behave really well. I haven't had any problems in any of my pens really that I can think of off the top of my head with any Colorverse inks, and some of them get pretty blingy. So this is Walk the Dog. All right, the next great fall ink is another Diamine, and this is Tobacco Sunburst. This is not a lot of shimmer. I think it has just a smidge, but it's such a pretty brown. I really like this brown. And I love making these pages in my ink journal. It's very satisfying, but then also when I go back and kind of flip through, I feel like they're just kind of little works of art themselves. So I really enjoy having these little projects to work on and sharing some fun inks with you. All right, so Diamine. This is not a fancy ink by any stretch. It's just a very solid brown. It's a very pretty brown, and I think that it deserves a place in the lineup for favorite fall inks. The next one on my list, this is going to be a little bit of an experiment. This was in the, I'm pretty sure 2023 Diamine Inkvent calendar. It's called Walnut. It's a pretty rich brown. The page that I had swatched this when I did the Inkvent last year, this dried. It had this weird kind of waxy look to it, and it was a little off-putting. And so I haven't used it in a pen, but I just feel like this brown is just a great fall brown. So I am actually trying this for the first time since I didn't like it, but I like it here. I didn't like it on the swatch. So I'm going to see if I like it better now, or if maybe I just put too much of it down on the first swatch that I did. I'm not sure. But it just had this, oh, that's such a pretty brown. It just dried in this really odd texture that just made me a little uncomfortable. Maybe that sounds weird. I don't know. It just was weird. We'll see if it does the same thing here. But it is a rich brown that if it doesn't dry weird and it's a solid texture, I think that'll be a really nice brown. And that is just plain old walnut, no shimmer or sheen to speak of. We'll give that a couple minutes and we will take a look at it a little closer. And if you look up where these are starting to dry, you can kind of see where it's breaking up a little bit. I just love that look on these swatches. It's so unique and pretty, I think. The next ink is another Diamine. Diamine just kind of takes a lot of my faves here. This is Coco Shimmer, and I do have this in a pen. If there's ever a pen that deserves to have Coco Shimmer in it, it is this Bennu. And Coco Shimmer is just my dedicated ink for this pen. Like no other ink makes sense to be in this pen because it is just so blingy. Anyway, it's a nice rich brown with shimmer, obviously, Coco Shimmer, and it handles really well in my Bennu. I have not had any problems with it at all, and it's got quite a bit of shimmer in it. So we'll have to give it a minute to dry before that shimmer really comes out, hopefully. Sometimes when I'm swatching the inks, if I don't shake it up really good, that all the shimmer settles down at the bottom before I get a chance to swatch it or write with it. So sometimes I'll put the cap back on and shake it again if I want that shimmer to be prominent in the writing sample, which I normally do. But some inks, when you shake them, they get a little foamy at the top, and then it kind of bubbles up on the dip pen. So that is Diamine Coco Shimmer. Oh, I love how this page is looking already. It's just screaming fall. These are just my absolute favorite hues and colors of the season. The next one, we're gonna see. My husband suggested this one, and I have this in a pen, but I don't write with it all that often. And this is a Wearing Gold ink, and it's Anubis, and I shook all the shimmer already, but it does have some good shimmer in there. Let's see how it looks once I put it down. Oh, my left-handed, I need to make sure not to smear those other ones. Okay, so I put a lot of ink right there. Let's kind of push that around a little bit. Oh, I think that's going to be nice. It's kind of a little bit of a coppery brown. I think where it's pooling, it's obviously a lot darker, but where I see it already kind of drying, it's a little bit lighter. And I do have this in a TWSBI And the shimmer doesn't bother it at all. It flows nicely, no problems. And it does get a little bit foamy there at the top, I see. Oh my gosh, you guys, I don't want to smear that. Angle and problems of a lefty, right? Anubis. Okay, maybe I probably should have done this column first. I didn't think that through. All right, so moving on, that's kind of all of the greens and the browns that I'm sharing today. I'm going to move on to some reds and oranges. So the first reddish orange is Diine Firefly. This is a favorite. It's got some pretty fantastic shimmer there at the bottom. Let's see if I can get it pretty shook up. Even with shaking it really hard, you can see like that is very determined shimmer. And I can't think if I have this in a pen currently, but I know that this is an ink that we use quite a bit, kind of in our reddish orange pens. And I just think that's so pretty. Kind of matches that little leaf I have there. And as I'm filming this, we are in the last week of October. I cannot believe, oh wow, that's a lot of ink. I cannot believe how fast October has gone. I always think, oh, I'm gonna do so many fall things and really slow down and enjoy the season. And oh my gosh, you guys, with school, we have parent conferences, we've got homecoming, we've got spirit weeks, we've got all these things at school that just keep us so busy. And then outside of school, I have a teenager who's going 100 miles an hour in 12 different directions. So I did not get to really do anything seasonal this fall, which is such a bummer. But that's okay. We did watch a lot of horror movies, which is always something we do in October. And the season isn't over. November is also a great month too. So the next ink is Diine Celebration. This was another ink vent ink. Any of these little bottles that you ever see me share, these are generally out of our ink vent calendars. I know after the ink vent or after the first of the year, some retailers will sell individual little bottles like this, but most of ours, because we do the ink vent every year, most of ours are going to be out of that. And speaking of the ink vent, oh, I'm so excited. I received a complimentary 2024 ink vent calendar from Tom at Goldspot, so I will be showcasing those inks starting in December. I'm not going to do any kind of spoilers or anything ridiculous like that. Like, I have on YouTube already seen some people who are posting about the ink vent calendar, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to do it in December. But huge shout out to Goldspot for supporting me, and just really excited to share that with you guys come December. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to share it yet, if I'm going to do it every day or if I'm going to do like in 5-day increments. We'll see, but it will be a fun little activity to do in December. Oh, I didn't give myself enough room. Celebration. Okay, my handwriting is getting much worse on this right hand side because I'm trying to cram my left-handedness without smearing the other side. All right, down to the last two. This is a favorite of ours. This is Robert Oster, Burned Orange, and I don't know if you can see, this is probably an ink, so it's about down to here. I don't know if you can see. So we've used about that much, and that's kind of a big deal because to use that much fountain pen ink says, yeah, we use this burned orange quite a bit. I think my husband and I both have dedicated pens that we use this ink in. It is so pretty. I love the red orange. It's just rich. It handles well. It doesn't have any shimmer. but it just is such a nice fall color, and I just really enjoy that. And it's a super wet ink. I like wet inks. All right, so Robert Foster. Okay, the last ink I am going to share is an ink that I picked up actually just a couple days ago. We have a little stationery store that is just a year old in downtown Vancouver. It is called Orangium, and so Vancouver, Washington, not Vancouver, Canada. If you are in the Portland or Vancouver area, go check this store out. It is so cute, so eclectic. The owner is fantastic. She's great to talk to. She's on Main Street, right before Evergreen, I think. And I was in there on Friday. She has a lot of Ferris wheel press inks. And I saw this box, and what is it called? Hardy Harvest. I didn't find the swatch of this ink. I didn't even open the box. I was like, you know what? If it's called Hardy Harvest and it's in this orange box, it has got to be great for fall. Oh, and it has a slice of pumpkin pie on the top. So I was like, this has to be a great fall ink. So I just took the plunge, and it turned out to be a lovely fall ink. So Ferris Wheel Press, they have beautiful packaging, and this ink is, I think, going to be one of my absolute favorites. It's just super pretty. It has a little bit of shimmer in it, and it's not really the same color as any of my other orange inks. It might come close, but I just really enjoy. I was super happy with this. Okay, I'm not writing out Ferris Wheel Press. I'll just go FP and Hardy Harvest. Okay, so there are the 10 more. I think I only shared 8 in my first video, and I probably am even overlooking more inks. I should give a shout out to some more, but I'm not, because this video is getting a little long and out of control. So we'll see what they look like in just a minute once they're dry. Okay, let's take a closer look at these. So we've got Diamine Fortune's Gold, Colorverse Walk the Dog, Diamine Tobacco Sunset. Look at just the beautiful sheening on that. I love it. The Walnut, I don't know, on camera it looks really, really dark. It didn't dry weird like it did on my other swatch, so that might be a contender that I'll put in a pen. Coco Shimmer, just such a beautiful color. The Wearing Goal, that's a lovely brown. The Firefly, oh my gosh. Where I wrote Diamine, that's just all gloppy and crazy. And then Celebration, Robert Oster. Again, that's a favorite. That's taking forever to dry, so there's still a couple patches that are wet. And then the Hardy Harvest. That might be my favorite. I'm so happy with that purchase. All right, so this video went way longer than I had planned. Thanks for sticking around if you're still here. What's your favorite? Did I miss any? Are there any inks that you can think of that I skipped over? So far I've showcased 18 inks for fall, and I'm sure there's more out there, but I'd love to know what your favorite of this bunch is, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. I will link to a couple of retailers that sell these inks and our little shop that is open downtown Vancouver. Go give her some love. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.